Greetings and salutations. Today is May 3rd. It's a Wednesday, 2017, and this is episode 3 of Lupus Lupine Art. Welcome. I'm Joe, or Lupus Lupine, as you may have started to catch on, and today we are going to be talking about proper character setup, composition, how to create movement in your figures. So, I've got my handy dandy time lapse started here, nothing to look at yet, but we'll get going. So, as I've spoken before, I work in Clip Studio Paint exclusively to do my artwork. It's what my tablet, my Surface Pro 2 can handle. So I've got that opened up here, and in just a second, I'm going to open up a new, clean background page here and get started. We're going to be taking a look at, I'm wondering why it took so long for me to open up a new page here. I guess I did too much talking. I spent too much time talking about everything that I'm talking about now. There we go. So, blank canvas, I went wide instead of tall, and as you can see, I've stopped doing complete plain white for my backgrounds. I put just a little bit of gray in there because it's a little bit easier on the eyes. And to start out with, I just laid down a pretty normal figure, straight on, whatever, just to kind of illustrate a normal standing figure. This would be the sort of thing that you might do in order to do a character costume design or a figure study, something like that. Pretty boring overall. And then by comparison, what we've got next to it, I try to do something really dynamic, kind of a little bit even, I would say, out of control. Leg forward, leg back. I wasn't trying to do anything particularly perfect, just illustrate kind of the opposite. If it's not a figure just standing there, what might it look like? And you see a lot of this all over places like DeviantArt and that sort of thing. Costume design stuff, or these really weird, crazy figures. And I'm pointing out there that it doesn't really create a really good through line for what you want to do is control what your viewer's eye is going to do. So the stagnant view line of just standing there, like there's nothing there to really stop the eye. It kind of wanders up and down or maybe all over the place. Whereas by comparison, there's so many different lines all going so many different directions. It's hard to even keep your eye on the figure, which is just as bad. So what you want to do instead, when you're thinking about a figure, when you're laying it out, is think about how to control the viewer's eye. Describe to the viewer in subtle ways as you lay out the figure, as you lay out the composition, where you want the viewer's eyes to go. So with this new figure I started, I made some very specific decisions during the course of laying it out in order to kind of guide the viewer's eye back to where the focal point typically is on a figure, which usually it's the face. Usually when you're drawing someone, that's where you've spent the most time, the most work. That's what you're trying to control and trying to cause to have happen. So when you're doing your composition, I started another one here, so sort of sitting, reclining position, some foreshortening. You can see I was really careful to make sure that, at least with the arms, I was able to control where the eye was going. And then as you can see there, I've started to lay in the groundwork, and I purposely put my vanishing point, between the ground and the sky at a place where it practically literally slices the drawing in half and places the head, the focal point, in its own section of the drawing. It will do a really good job of creating that focus. So I jumped over to the piece that I've been spending a lot of time working on right now and sort of pointed out the same sort of idea, that I was thinking about that sort of thing in all of these layouts, although this one is stronger than anything else that I did, even on my thumbnails. So in looking at that, they're kind of going back, thinking about lines that travel through the character to guide where the eye goes. There are some that are kind of doing it, but not really. On the figure facing straight for us, there's that weighting where both sides are equal. It creates a really boring kind of composition. Perhaps I've got a bit of a line in my dynamic figure, but I could have done better. So what we do next is thinking about those lines that travel to the figure and incorporating those as well into the composition, into the positioning of the figure. So I drew my head balloon, as you saw there, and tried to really try and commit to an extreme line to put into the character. And I decided to go with something pretty far along there. That's a really, really forward lunge. So I started to put in some more detail, some head stuff, everything thinking about that spine line, that really, really heavy curve that I created there, and also trying to incorporate it into other parts of the body. You see I did it pretty strongly with the hand, although I diffused some of that. I don't want the eye to go the wrong way, so I put that little kind of block on the end with putting the hand at an odd angle so that the energy traveled out a particular, away from from behind the character. The back leg, I was able to get that curve into his shin yet again. Cheating a little bit, I pointed his shin kind of back up to his face to strengthen that line there. Thought about the back arm, but made some decisions around hiding it around the back side of the body. Decided to put the face more in profile. Excuse me. Because it's more interesting. And then ultimately kind of went back and started to even clean things up a little bit, thinking about where my line would go, think about where my silhouette is, and then just kind of checked myself there, thinking about all of the different angles, everything that all the curves, and incorporating them in, or diffusing the energy away with like a bend in the wrist or something of that nature. Then I also started to think about, okay, well, I'm sending all of this energy forward off of a character. What needs to be in the composition to keep the eye from just traveling off the edge of the page? And that's where you can start to think about, adding stuff to your backgrounds and that sort of thing. I suggested the kind of goofy idea of using a tree almost like a pillow, or would it be smarter to just cut off the page, cut off the drawing earlier, so that there's no place for the eye to go. The edge of the page acts as its own sort of boundary if it's close enough. So, with a fresh sheet, it's time to go back and kind of sum things up. So you've got focus, as in where you want the eye to focus, and you use things like composition of the piece overall, as well as movement within the character, positioning of the character, both working together to point that stuff back to it. And even in something as simple as a stagnant portrait, a little bit with some arms and stuff like that can be very, very effective. Maybe you want to do something a little bit more direct, like just having the figure pointing at his own face. Thinking about using the background, whatever you put into it, to also add to that, get things going where they're supposed to be going. Perfect. And of course, last but not least, creating interesting movement, interesting curves within the character in order to focus things back to where you're spending the most time, that beautiful, beautiful face that you spent all that time working on, and those really sparkly eyes, and that just gorgeous nose and smile that you put in there. And in a nutshell, that really kind of sums things up. So, looking at a full-on when you're really trying kind of piece, what might look like. I illustrated the curve there. I got it really nice in that forward arm, but maybe not so much in that leg. And then we've got the other arm reversed. I could have done something else with that curve potentially. I don't know. Not everything is perfect. But then I've also thought about how I'm going to break up the background in order to put more focus on the composition, more focus on my character's face. Although there is maybe a little bit of focus going on at the other end with that shoe, we'll see what I can do before the end of things in order to get that fixed up. And then, with the rest of the time, I just went back to working on my own piece. I figured I covered my material faster than I thought I was going to. So, I'll use the last couple minutes here. While this is still going, feel free to watch. I'm going to draw some really cool buttons here coming up soon. Let's kind of talk about, if you follow me on Twitch, you may have already heard from watching a video that every Monday at, gotta think of the time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, this is when I record this stream for 1 hour, and every Monday is going to be some sort of a tutorial topic just like this. So if you're interested in seeing this at live, actual, normal speed, I recommend dropping on by. Say hi, put your questions in there. I'll happily pause from what I'm doing to answer any sort of questions. I'm looking for suggestions for future tutorials. Yeah, very happy, very excited to do that. On Fridays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, I stream for 2 hours each night, just working on my own work, chit-chatting, music playing. I play electro swing, glitch hop, beat boot music based on video games most of the time. Let's just be honest. Yeah, just come, hang out. It's chill. If you search for me, LupisLupineArt, that is my Twitch handle. If this is the first time you're finding me through this, hopefully by the time you're seeing it, it's still going. I'm going to try and get better at finding ways to link these things down underneath here in the actual YouTube video information. So hopefully you'll see more of that in the future. I'll have to make some sort of copy paste or something in Word so I could put in things like my YouTube handle, LupisLupineArt, my Twitter @JVLupo. You can find me on DeviantArt at LupisLupine. Yeah, like I said, hopefully those links are already down there. If not, I'm going to do my best to figure out how to learn how to do that soon. So if you're seeing this today and they're not there, yeah, hopefully they're going to be there in a fairly short order. I am going to be expanding the time that I am spending on Twitch actually drawing, streaming for longer, streaming more often. I don't have any of that stuff quite worked out yet. My daytime job is undergoing some changes, some positive ones, things I'm excited about, but it's not all said and done yet, so I'm not prepared to commit to any sort of time or anything like that yet, but hopefully there will be big, good news to come. So yeah, I'll share more as I get it. Follow me on Twitter, check me out on Twitch. Yeah, I'm excited to share content with you guys. I'm sitting there watching myself. It's very distracting because I already know what I'm about to figure out, which is I didn't do a good job drawing the twist in the cloth. I mean, oh yeah, check that out. Oh man, as he realizes that if this is the front of her skirt and this is the front of her chest, that her whole body is twisting in there, and you can't just have it one way and then another, and it just doesn't work that way. So I started to figure out I gotta go in there. I erased all those folds, all of that work, and redrew it. And boy, golly, did it look a whole lot better once I finished. Obviously, a tutorial on folds down the line seems like it might be a good idea. For myself first. I've already even done more work since then. I'll be streaming this in a little bit, actually, in a little while. It's Wednesday night, but who cares? Let's get crazy. Oh yeah, I am also looking for future tutorial subject matter. So if you're seeing this, obviously this is early, it's number 3. I got lots of ideas, but I want to produce the content that you're interested in. So put comments down below, hit me, tweet at me, chat at me in Twitch. I want to be drawing content that you're interested in. If there's a topic you want to see, if there's something you're interested in doing, there's something you've been struggling with and you think I might be the right person to help you figure out, get you past that and get you moving along with things, please let me know. I'm excited to help. Hit me up with a comment any way you want to. I'm excited and I want to help you out. Looks like the video is just about done. I noticed that the eyes were too small. Already partially fixed that. They got even bigger and closer to being right soon. I'm super excited to show you guys the finished piece. But it looks like, yep, we went frozen. That's it for now. As usual, thank you for joining me. This was Lupus Lupine Art. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. And yeah, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. Please subscribe, all of that stuff. Thanks again, and have a great night.